This poem just slipped in at the end. It's called Ever After. Ever After. Oxytocin in large crowds. You're no ordinary nonconformist. A spousal handshake. In all transparency, it is worth recording everything my father says from now. Your body, my body. Underscore psycholinguistics, you're talking, my talking. If we run toward the hills, tutting at airstrikes, codependent headlines, our Shawshank husbands, happily ever after. So one of the poets who I was looking at when I was writing this collection was Rebecca Elson, who confronted the universe and also wrote about, in her collection A Responsibility to All, she was confronting the universe and also depicting the downfall of her health as she died, sadly, of breast cancer. And I think one of the things that I took from her was to also write about the personal. So there's a shift in this collection where I start thinking about my own position in relation to the universe and the position as well of my husband in relation to the universe. My husband's an astronomer and takes astrophotography. So this poem for me is a turning point. Coma cluster. Our real drama is years past, floating islands scrabbling together in a milky anemia. Should we faint or drape ourselves over stasis and reignite a final renaissance? You meet me with the dog. The dog is a big thing to us, less endangered. Catapults love, violate the parts of me which can't tremor. In fact, the way to pleasure me is with disclosure. I'm not a key player. Tell me again how to define euphoria. You kept your aphasia under wraps, used other words. All fontanelles are banned. This poem I wrote after a day teaching in a secondary school. Assemblage. Lick the gravid tide, husk intimate testaments, fuck ennui, posthumously overcast, vertigo experienced in the walking of it, exposed somnambulism, ebbing, prophecy like the mannequin brothers laid on my bed, baptism high junk reports, rustic narcosis. Are the romantics doing anything for this lull? As if doping scandals are scandals. Ample love pelts me, thermal lows, frayed hooligan, frenetic bound, swag, swag, swag. You got swagger, miss. This poem came quite late in the collection when I was sort of at proofing stage, and I slipped it in. It was a little distraction. It's called The Interval Proper to the Idyll. And we find ourselves in the consciousness setting. 183 nautical miles away, the pictorial avant-garde is exploring loanwords and state-of-the-art tildes. 11 a.m. in the cow fields without a hint of phatic communion. Sundowner to sundowner, I'm in for a pound. Pausing too long in the street for his pears and cunnilingus. Madame versus the flattening and thinning of life, and the pyrus alone will keep me going. Reanimate. Distinguish all this from nothing. How nothing feels borrowed, a thesis in prayer. Hold me with an apiso aviola, which element does or does not. Where would we be if I never listened to your stars, held hands in such sound in a conforming tangled space? There is no human idiom at all. You say we are never more ourselves than at the moment we depart, before we call out in a non-language, and every sign is a last sign groping the walls. The body feeds from the borders. World without end. So this, there's just 2 poems left, and then I'm going to read some other poems from my newer collection. This poem really is a bridge between these poems which are engaging with cosmology and poems which are engaging with speech condition. Mimicry. Crude noumenon, held in suspension, out of dubiety, out of our arms singing, no one need apologize. Lucid in tribute, this flood, it is a flood. Exordi, early bird in our catch-up. Tell me we will live. Gesture, move this tongue near to teeth, forgo this year to observe dog-eat-dog spirals, dust pollen. How long before we named all this? How long before our tongue, before all tongues left by knapsack, turned outward, befit blueprint to the swift roaming word? Fathom this when summer rages on, this micro scorch of unfurling under this thread, this threat of surge, what's uttered on the tongue, obliged to you, obliged to be within earshot, ear to ear, and into the limb. Actually, so this first poem from the new collection, which is called Places of Articulation, and is being just published with Dancing Girl Press in Chicago, is called Schizophonetic. And this is the speech condition where you cannot bear the sound of your mother tongue. That mother tongue cannot bear a single imprint. Neander to rinse out jaw in paper cup. Is it the porosity of locking onto discourse? Throw it out, cold, there'll be an end to your euphoria. Feel probation as is, no textual evidence, no hypothesis on the tongue. In this crumple zone, the tongue is a mountain. Mother tongue is a mountain. Gut me, cut, diphthong by diff. Yeah. This is the last poem that I wrote for that collection, called Aurelius. Hunting. Almost physiologically, the perennial problem is spermatoza reflux. Consider all the aborted sentences written in the Aurelius mood. We don't speak of love fugue. I'm as keen as ever over hypotheticals. There's a good tradition of love and hate, but in the quantum sense, we're closely related. You'll find no warrant in speech for full-mouthed debridement. Daughters must be warned over mythologized selves, the nerve of ionized bride, sex and hullabaloo, acolyte charms, lexicon up front and personal. This poem is about the Hebrew letter which no one can pronounce because it's too simple to pronounce. It's called Aleph. Aleph in throat opening assigns sound for the vowel it bears, how to echolocate, emit the more primordial. How poor in brushed poverty. Acoustic ways to find, all morning we kill for a little letter privilege. Fervent inceptions we strain to hear, by divine name this Aleph, so long to sage, recall in all its plexus, in all its cursing, renaissance within the hour. We hear inscriptions, the absence of the letter, terms of vulgarity, rhetoric shakedown, too tired to throw out alpha, to console the glyph, too absent to notice how truth forms like air, crushes with its overlap. You know when you're talking with somebody and they start to mimic your mouth? Remember? You with me? Yeah? It happens sometimes. It's like, I think it's probably a form of mirror touch synesthesia, which is like or maybe it's just that you're enjoying it what the person is saying so much that you want to join in. So this poem's called Echolalia. The mouth will never leave you, except to mimic, except to cross over in a straight stupor. Play, play, play with me. Play affects after stem, we are liquids. The planet is full to bursting with bodies who are not reaching out to other bodies. Params or die. This code is on the edge. Forgiveness is our mouths. Wash it out. It terrifies you. Per diems, it terrifies me. We have too much time and too much mouth. Your mouth is a binary racket. Your mouth records my mouth. Sentences line up, supine and hungry, unrecorded, like a swallowing, like oath canyons, mattering, not mattering. The last poem that I'd like to read, is from 57, Tears in the Fence. Doesn't appear in any of my collections, but I'm really happy it's in here. It's about pornography in the ditches in the 80s and 90s, and no longer because of the internet. And it's called Little Elegies. Not only under beds, magazine racks, sock drawers, but ditches also. Little elegies for breasts. Carnal, cardinal, two-dimensional, discarded by husbands. It must be husbands. Surely it is husbands. One love scattered by northeasterlies, one love licked up by foxes, gargantuan, fast and fearing hound bitches. My ethics are your ethics and no ethics. Pull out your poetics, dribbling again, fingerless gloves. I don't trust this feeling, these bitches in ditches, molecular and stern, calling out for patterns, for spermatoza, for vitamin D, for deficiencies, blood counts common as chintz. Everywhere, everywhere. Do we really know whether the breasts in the park have inverted nipples or not? Or if any of these bodies are touch typers, are on loan at all? If these bodies say gossamer too much, think shard too much? Eureka, I want to blow a kiss to the ditches. Eureka, I want to survey you all over. We can survey each other right now. Look, free pens for everyone. Yet more spiral chit-chat midweek. Put to sleep the baby. Put to sleep nicknames your brothers proffered in 1984 in the gooseberry patch, legs turning rose. Put to sleep the seduction technique, Lake Geneva, 1999. Forget being born during the siege on the Iranian embassy. I just popped over to say, the kill zone is quiet now. Come out. Come out beamishly. Rest on the bosoms of mothers, the hearts of quiet girls skating on holidays. Come out. We have tucked away pornography. We have tucked away soldiers, those crazy limp-dicked soldiers. We cure them by breast and birdsong. Come out. We have cleansed the ditches by way of apology. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed, Dorothy.